All right, guys. So a few days back, Kamala Harris did a campaign event with Liz Cheney. And there's a lot to say about it. Before I go any further, let me play some of the video from it. So as you can see in the background, you have these signs that say country over party. Let's listen a little bit. Here we go.
Can we hear it for Liz Cheney? And so I do want to say a bit more about Liz Cheney. You all know her leadership, and she has obviously and so importantly been a leader for the people of Wyoming, but she has also been an extraordinary national leader and has served with great honor. And she not only, as she has talked today, recognizes that character is among the most important attributes of leadership, but she also personifies that attribute. And she possesses some of the qualities of character that I most respect in any individual and any leader. Courage, especially at a moment like this, where there are so many powerful forces that have been intent on trying to demean and belittle and make people afraid. And there are many who know it is wrong, and then there are those who have the courage to speak out loudly about it and the conviction to speak truth. And, you know, it is so admirable when anyone does it, and especially when it is difficult to do in an environment such as this. But Liz Cheney really is a leader who puts country above party and above self, a true patriot, and it is my profound honor to have your support. And I also want to thank your father, Vice President Dick Cheney, for his support and what he has done to serve our country. Every endorsement matters, and this endorsement matters a great deal, Liz, and it carries a special significance because, as you said, we may not see eye to eye on every issue, and we are going to get back to a healthy two-party system, I am sure of that, where we will have vigorous debates.
So, look, I understand what the theory is. I understand what they're trying to do. What they're doing is saying, hey, this is not really a debatable thing, bro. This election is not really a question, right? Because, you know, we have our coalition with us, which is, you know, leftists, liberals, and Democrats, and moderates, and centrists. Like, we have them. But then also, oh, would you look at that? Some of the most conservative Republicans in the country are hopping on board too. So where's the question? Where's the debate? Where's the discussion? We've locked down the left and the center, and even the reasonable ones on the right are coming to us. And it's trying to display this is about everybody. This is about everybody. And the old Obama line of it's not the red states and the blue states, it's the United States, and I'm a president for all of them, etc. So I understand what they're trying to do there, right? But Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney, I mean, can we just call a spade real quick? It's not that, oh, we don't see eye to eye on every issue. It's like literally the only thing she's correct about is that Trump tried to overturn the last election, and she's against that. She wasn't against it when it was Dick Cheney and George W. Bush and they stole the 2000 election. That one was fine. But with Trump, it went too far, particularly because, you know, he's crass and he has no filter and he says insane things on Twitter and he's completely unhinged. I do think the character thing genuinely feeds into where she comes from. But, like, this is somebody who was praising the Supreme Court for throwing out Roe v. Wade. This is somebody who's defended every war and defended torture. It's not like, hey, we agree and we disagree in certain places. Bro, she voted with Trump. I'm going to blank on the exact number, but I want to say it was either 92 or 94% of the time. She's Trump without the mean tweets and the fraudulent elector slates and January 6th. That's what she is. And so you run this risk of like, we're going to make our party so big that it stands for nothing. And I think the thing that frustrates, it'd be one thing, look, if she was super serving her own base and then she did a little bit of this, that'd be one thing. I could stomach it in that scenario. But it's a totally separate thing when you sort of are now starting to put your middle finger up to your own base, and then you do this like fawning speech with adoration for some of the worst people in the country. Let's call a spade a spade. To say, like, I want to thank Dick Cheney for his service. His service, he brought torture back. He did illegal wars that killed hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians and displaced millions of people. Like, when we say, hey, you want to reach out to the other side, you want to reach across the aisle, the idea there is, hey, there are some union workers in Ohio who voted for Obama twice and then they flipped to Trump because they thought maybe he'd protect their jobs, and he didn't. So do an event with the union guys who had just voted Republican and are now coming back to the Democrats. That's what we mean when we say, hey, reach out to the other side. Present a united front. It's not like, hey, let's take the leaders on the Republican side who are loathsome and wrong about almost everything and let's put them front and center. Because the fact of the matter is, she's doing this big fawning event with Liz Cheney. First of all, her approval rating is abysmally low. Like, nobody actually likes her. And second of all, I don't know, have you seen an event like this be done with, say, Bernie Sanders, right? Or somebody who more represents the left worldview? No, because it's like they're taken for granted. She recently rejected a meeting with the uncommitted movement, right? So it's like run and hide from my base who are telling me stop arming and funding Israel as they carpet bomb innocent civilians. Run and hide from them and then go snuggle up to Liz Cheney. So this is the first time you're starting to see some of the same, Hillary Clinton type mistakes being made. These are Hillary Clinton type mistakes. As that famous drill tweet goes, you don't, under any circumstances, gotta hand it to ISIS. And it's like, all right, look, if you want to mention every now and then, oh, we have Republicans who crossed the aisle and endorsed us, like Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney, it's okay for you to bring it up, but to really stress it and do this event and say things like, thank Dick Cheney for his service and whatever, it's like that. Look, it's at the point now where it's crossing the line. It's bad politics. It's bad strategy. And the fact of the matter is, I think Kamala gets certainly more leeway, or I give her more leeway than I ever gave to Hillary, because she picked Tim Walz for VP. And Tim Walz is the best governor in the country with the best record in the country, right? And also, she's part of the administration, the Biden administration, that did an awesome job on domestic policy and union stuff and wages and the National Labor Relations Board and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Like, they did great on that, so they get more leeway on that front. But let's also call a spade a spade. There is one realm where they've blown all their goodwill, and that's foreign policy. And to have some of the biggest neocons in the country snuggle up to you is not a good sign. That is not a good sign, because they started out, it was based. They pulled out of Afghanistan, mega based, massively reduced the drone war, mega based. And then now it's let's arm and fund Israel as they bomb like every country in the region, right? So it's not good. It is not good. I don't know how else to put it. It is not good. I understand what they're trying to do in theory, but you always run the risk of alienating your base to reach out to this phantom tiny group that may or may not vote for you, right? And functionally, here, I'll put it this way, guys. I don't see this as any different to Trump trotting around the country with like Tulsi Gabbard, right? And pretending, and RFK, and pretending that Tulsi Gabbard and RFK have any sway with the actual left, right? Like, they don't. They just don't. Tulsi and RFK do not have any sway with the other side of the aisle anymore. They're only beloved on the right. And Liz Cheney is only beloved on the Democratic side. But the thing is, it's particularly stupid because she still voted with Trump over 90% of the time. And the only area where she agrees with liberals and leftists and Democrats is that January 6th was bad and the fraudulent elector slate was bad. Right? So it's just not good politics. Now, finally, here's the other problem with this. And let me be clear, too. Some people will see this and they'll come to the conclusion, so Kamala Harris, Donald Trump is the anti-war candidate. Well, hold on. You know who supports Trump? Tom Cotton, one of the biggest neocons in the entire country. Lindsey Graham, one of the biggest neocons in the entire country. In fact, in Trump's administration the last time was John Bolton and Mike Pompeo. Mike Pompeo still supports Trump. Gina Haspel. Like, these are all huge neocons. So if you want to say, Kamala represents the neocons because she has Dick and Liz Cheney. It's like, okay, then Trump represents the neocons because he has Tom Cotton and Lindsey Graham and Mike Pompeo, right? So let's keep everything in context and perspective here. The fact of the matter is, they are both very pro-war. It's a question of degree. It's a question of how pro-war, how far are they willing to go? And what we know vis-a-vis Trump is that he's made clear Miriam Adelson gave him $100 million to allow Israel to annex the West Bank next. Trump is now running around saying Israel should bomb Iran's nuclear facilities. So in other words, the point I'm making is, don't misinterpret what I'm saying as, since I'm criticizing Kamala over this, therefore Trump is the anti-war candidate. Fucking of course he's not. Nobody has been less anti-war than Trump. But having said that, when you do an event like this, it does open up the door for Trump to come out and say things like this.
Kamala Harris is out on the campaign trail today with Liz Cheney. Your thoughts on that?
Well, Liz Cheney lost for Congress. Liz Cheney is a stupid war hawk. All she wants to do is shoot missiles at people. I really think it hurts. I think, frankly, if Kamala, I think they hurt each other. I think they're so bad, both of them.
She's a stupid war hawk, and all she wants to do is shoot missiles at people. There is no lie there. That is correct, right? So you open up the door for him to say something true. Now, but of course, Trump ruins it immediately. Why? Because in the same interview, Trump calls for Israel bombing Iran's nuclear facilities. So which is it, Don? Is shooting missiles at people's faces good or bad? Apparently you think it's good when you do it and it's bad when she does it, right? But I don't want you to open up the door. I don't want you to open up the door to have him say something true and accurate. All right, and then finally, I want to give you this. This is an old clip of Joe Biden, and this is what we like to call based Joe Biden. So here he was. I'm not sure what year this was, but he was asked about Dick Cheney, and here's what he had to say.
Dick Cheney trusts that the American people can make judgments that are in the interest of the country. But the thing I really, really think he's done, I think he has done more harm than any other single high elected official in my memory, in terms of shredding the Constitution, condoning torture, pushing torture as a policy, this idea of the unitary executive, meaning the Congress and the people have no power in a time of war, the president controls everything. And I don't have any animus toward Dick Cheney, but I really do think his attitude about the Constitution and the prosecution of this war has been absolutely wrong.
By the way, look at how much more he was with it mentally back then. It's kind of crazy to watch clips of Biden from back then. I don't know what year this is, 2010, 2012-ish? I don't know. Maybe earlier, I'm not sure. But anyway, he's right. He's right about every single thing he said there. Every single thing he said there is true. Dick Cheney's a war criminal. He's a war criminal, right? So, look, you just don't got to hand it to war criminals. You just don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. I understand what you're trying to do. Yes, I like the idea of presenting a united front. We have leftists, we have liberals, we have centrists, we have moderates, and also, look, we even have disaffected conservatives or whatever. But what needs to be clear is that they are signing up for your agenda. It can't be a question as to whether or not you're signing up for their agenda, because then you defeat the whole purpose of what you're supposed to be, right? Like, is he a war criminal or is he not? Is he a torturer or is he not? Is he good or is he not? And you can't just say, hey, because he doesn't like Trump, he's good. No, if he still 94% disagrees with what your views are supposed to be, then you got to keep everything in context and perspective, right? So, as I said, when you talk about bipartisanship, you talk about unity, you talk about getting people from the other side on board, we're talking about people who were like former Obama voters who are union guys who supported Trump, and now they're open to coming back because you guys did some good things for unions. Not like, let's put the most evil people in the country front and center, right? Like, to put Dick Cheney up there, I mean, that's like saying, let's have George W. Bush come and endorse Kamala and support Kamala. You shouldn't want him to be a face of what you're doing. You shouldn't want that. Because again, the problem with Donald Trump is that he's like George W. Bush. The problem with Dick Cheney is that he's like Trump. Your tent can't be so big that you no longer stand for anything. you know what I'm saying? Or you represent the other side more than you represent your own. So problems, man, problems. Hopefully they do no more of those events with Liz Cheney. I'm okay if you want to tout endorsements from Republicans, but you got to keep it in perspective. It starts to get really over the top and really unsettling when that is more front and center than your own people, your own supporters, your own views, which are supposed to be, at the very least, liberal, centrist, dare I say, social democratic, somewhat on the left, right? That's what it's supposed to be. But when you go out there and this is the big show, people are going to be concerned. They're going to be concerned, and they are right to be. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.